I don't know. I think it was the holding that got him, but the call got missed. I don't know.
It would have been beautiful, beautiful. So we were talking about the point spread, right? It opened up at 2.5 points. We're talking about how all the money was on Philly for the most part. All the tickets were on Philly for the most part. The line has now shifted to 1.5 points. So the Packers are 1.5 point favorites now. Just a quick update before we get into the lineup matchups here. 93% of the public's money is on the Eagles plus 1.5. 83% of the tickets are on them. Money line winning outright. 84% of the money is on the Eagles. 78% is on the, or 78% of the tickets are on the Eagles to win outright. I love this.
Scared money don't make money.
I absolutely love the fact that the public is so heavy on Philly in this game, man. You guys know how I feel about that. So really excited to see how this one unfolds. Let's get into the lineup matchups here real quick. And this was a lot of fun to kind of begin to dive into here. We're going to go offense. We'll go 11 personnel first. Our 11 personnel offense, which is a 3 wide receiver set. All right, from left to right, PFF grades. Offensive lineman, Walker 66, Banks 58, Jenkins 62, Jordan Morgan 56, and Zach Tom 81. So Elton Jenkins is the 20th highest graded center in the game right now. I think some of us would think he's probably playing worse than that. PFF seems to think he's top 20. I expected a lot more for him moving to center, but I do feel like it's getting a little bit better in that regard. We just got to get the running game going, man. I want to see outside zone plays, man, so bad. I think that's what's missing. That would open up this running attack and boot action off of that a little bit, just to hold those backers at home a little bit more. When you look at their defensive front, guys, Jalen Carter struggling this year, man. Look at his PFF grade, 2023, 87. Last year, 73. This year, he's sitting at a 60.6. So Jalen Carter off to kind of a slow start, according to PFF. And then the other one, Jordan Davis, former Georgia Bulldog, there in the middle. He's been as steady Eddie as they come. And this is the dude that torched the combine, run a crazy 40-yard dash, 6'6", 336 pounds. He was the 13th overall pick. His PFF grade, 72, 70, 71, 72 throughout the course of his career. So in the middle there, Jalen Carter having a little bit of a down year. You guys know how I talk about this. You can look at it and go, oh, man, he's not as good as we thought he was. Or you can look at it and go, boy, he's due for a breakout game, right? That worries me a little bit there. So when you look at how his game's graded out this season, do we have that? We do not have that. It's just by the year, isn't it? I don't want to leave that page or it'll throw everything else. So I wanted to see kind of what his ceiling was this year. But nonetheless, he grades out of 60 so far. They also picked up Jalen Phillips, right? That was that trade from Miami. Pretty solid player. PFF grades starting in 21, 53, 88, 79, 66, 66. Based off the recent history, I kind of feel like he's probably that mid-60s player, not a bad player. He can have flashes, have big games. He can wreck you from time to time. He's a former first-round pick out of Miami. He was the 18th overall selection. So really, when you're looking for Tuesday players here, Tim, on defense for them, Jordan Davis grabs your attention. I still think I would put Jalen Carter as a Tuesday player on the defensive line. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but PFF right now seems to think he's the 59th best defensive tackle in football right now. What do you think, Tim? Do you think this defensive line, I think you could get caught sleeping on them and they could wreck your game plan quick if you're not careful?
Yeah, for sure. You can't overlook Jalen Carter, regardless of what PFF says. You know, PFF hates Quay Walker. They give him low grades every week. And
Tim's going to mention it every week.
Quay's having his best year as a Packer. So I'm not going to let that tilt my opinion too much. You got to account for that dude in the middle. And I'm with you, man. I'd like to see some maybe some off tackle runs, something outside, mix it up a little bit, get those big defensive linemen moving laterally rather than crashing down. And then, yeah, obviously Davis too, another one that you've got to account for. But I'm not willing to sleep on Carter. Jalen Carter's still a Tuesday player in this Philly defense for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Jalen Carter, his grades per game real quick from this year, didn't play week 1 because he spit on the dude. So week 2, 56, 364, 472, 549, 767, and 853. So he's had a couple of, rough games. Really, it just seems like his tackling and his pass rush haven't gotten together. He was in the 20s for week 2 through 5 in tackling, and then the past 2 weeks he had a 70. but those 2 weeks, his pass rush grade wasn't the best. I mean, around a 60-ish. So the dude is still there. He's still, a machine. They have 2 first-round picks in the top 15 sitting right there over your center guard. That's going to be a problem that you're going to have to deal with. We saw what happened last year. It wasn't Glover's fault. He just got put on blast. Okay, so
there it is.
take it easy on my man. But we're gonna have to work on the interior. I did want to pull this up. I'll save Donovan's real quick. I just want to see here, Coach Lynn. This was earlier, but does anyone here miss Josh Myers? I don't know if I'm there yet. I want to see a little bit more from Elton, but I get what you're saying, Coach. I do. Because Chris said the same thing. He said, "I do, Coach. Never thought I'd say that." And there's just, it's nothing against Elton or anything like that. You got to take your battles there. I like our O-line. I think we can have a great wall up front, but they need to hammer some things out.
And just a quick update on Josh Myers and his grades compared to Elton Jenkins. Elton Jenkins 62.1. Josh Myers, 59.6 is where he's at. He has played 513 snaps. I think they signed him to be a backup center. I want to say their starting center got hurt. But, so he's according to PFF, right? It is what it is.
Right.
He's not playing as well as Elton Jenkins right now.
And where is Josh again? Giants?
He's with the Jets.
Oh, the Jets. Okay.
Yeah. I bet he's loving
Green
it.
Bay East. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I was pretty vocal in the offseason that, listen, I don't think Josh Myers is the answer at center. I think we've seen enough of it to know he's not a top 10 center in the league. He's never going to be, right? However, when you talked about him not getting much of much attention in free agency and him getting, what was it, $1.5 million on a 1-year deal, I would have gave him $2 million with 300,000 guarantees to get your butt up here. We want you back as a backup center. You'd be in a little bit better spot right now. You'd have a little flexibility when you get these injuries to kick Elton over to left guard and play Josh Myers at center.
Do you think they'd be willing to do that? If we did have Josh, do you think that they would be willing to move Elton around and kind of, bring him in and stuff like that?
It's a good question, man. I don't know, man. Tim, what do you think? Because it does kind of feel like I'm just going to say it, man. You guys know
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. It feels like Elton's got 1 foot out the door already, right?
Yeah, and I try to be positive, but I'm going to say something that I don't think many people talk about, and I don't understand why they don't, because every other week we're talking about firing this coach, firing that coach, bench this player, cut that player, and nobody ever talks about Coach Buckus. Like, at some point, do we not have to have a conversation that, hey, maybe we don't have the right offensive line coach here? Again, I love the last name. His uncle, Dick Buckus, talking about a dog. I mean, I hate that he played for Chicago, but just one of the greatest in the history of the game. But I look up at Luke Buckus. This is, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it from a different angle. Maybe I'm misremembering. But we were always known as having a great offensive line, right? That was kind of the staple for Green Bay here in the last decade, or probably even further back. Is it just me, or when Steno went to OC, the offensive line started taking steps back? That's what it felt like to me. I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I wrong there?
I don't think so. Not completely off base, right? Especially the last couple of seasons. But, I think it also comes to roster structure. We talk about you need versatility on your O-line, right? You need versatility in the trenches, period, both sides of the ball. But, you also need your anchors. You need guys that are going to play, a certain spot at a high level and, as Jacob would say, be steady Eddie for you. And, other than Zach Tom at right tackle and Rasheed Walker at left tackle, I don't know what kind of continuity and consistency we really have on that O-line other than Elton Jenkins, taking on this center role. So, and I still think he's a placeholder, for this season. We're going to have to make a decision going forward at center, after this year.
It's funny too. You got Ron in here, Pack Daddy's in the house. Me and him have not had a conversation about this, right? And I haven't listened to his show today. Maybe he talked about it earlier, and they're going, man, he's still in his content. I haven't listened to his show today yet. But he says in the chat, the O-line started going downhill as soon as we promoted the O-line coach to OC. That's exactly how I was feeling, Brian. And again, this isn't the first time I thought about it. It's been in the back of my mind for a while. Like, is that? And then you look up and Twitter's on fire. Packer fans are ready to fire the head coach. All right, maybe now is not the time to have that conversation about the offensive line coach. Let's see if we can put this fire out real quick.
Yeah.
Right. So, what do you think, Amelia? How do you feel about that?
That was the exact same way I was feeling. It just seems like we kind of lost a little bit when that happened. And it's, it's nothing against Buckets, like you said, but Steno really had him humming in there. And yeah, you had, you had different guys and stuff like that. You're building it around, but you have a set of 5 right there that you're feeling pretty comfortable with, that you kept them around because you like them. You paid a couple of them because you liked them. Why can't we get a little bit more from them? That's where we're hung up. And but it's tough, right? You're going to ask Steno. I know everybody thinks, that Steno doesn't do anything. He's still doing stuff daily, weekly, all that. How can you ask him to come take a downgrade back to going to O-line coach and then holding that down? There's just a lot going on, I feel like, in that offensive meeting room for everybody, for each of the position groups. He's got to worry about wide receivers and Jordan. He's got to worry about the backs. The other day he was talking about how he's got to get Emmanuel and Josh going at the same time because he likes the way the offense is working that way. So, like, those little things that he's paying attention to there, you're losing that time on the little things you could focus on, with Banks' footwork or Morgan's punch or things like that.
Yeah. Definitely. And if you guys are wondering what podcast I was just talking about, you just watch on YouTube. You can find this podcast or this show in podcast form, and an even better show, Ryan's show, Packernet Podcast. Just scan the QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to Packernet Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts at. Make sure you subscribe. And he does a show every day. It's awesome. He also does Packernet After Dark, where he gives you a number to call in. You can call in, leave a voicemail, and kind of voice your opinion on the Packers, and he'll play that over the air as well. So really, really good time over there. So Coach Lynn says Stenovich needs to get back in that room. And, Coach, if I were to play devil's advocate for a minute, maybe he is, and we don't know that, right? We're not behind the scenes. Maybe that's, I've heard people say, what does Steno do? He doesn't design the offense. Matt LaFleur is the play caller. What is he at? Maybe he's still involved there, and they gave him a little bit more responsibility around the overall game plan. I don't know, but I'm with Ryan. It's weird, right? That as soon as he took the OC job, now the offensive line kind of took a step back, it seems like. So let's see here. Elliot in the chat says, Clay, on our O-line coach, we're too talented to have this production. I think I agree with that too. I mean, there was a time when Elton Jenkins was a dog, right? Now he's getting older, obviously, right? Who knows how long he'll be here, but yeah. Now Zach Tom's playing good, right? Maybe it's the old Brett Favre. Remember the Brett Favre quote where he said, "Way to overcome your coaching."
Yeah,
I love it. Just talking trash to the coaches. He said it laughing too, only the way that Brett could. Fishy Thing says, I think you may have hit the nail on the head, Clay. Larry Cano in the house says, I agree with that assessment, Clayton. And let's see, 2-0 for this says, with Steno at OLC, offensive line coach, it seemed we always have a great line no matter the personnel. Yeah, it just seemed like they could just plug and play guys, man. And correct me if I'm wrong, man, but I'm trying to think of like the great offensive lineman that came through. When we drafted Zach Tom, I'm pretty sure Steno was still the offensive line coach, right? If I remember right. So maybe
I believe so. Yeah.
That was some time ago now. The years when you get to my age, man, they just blend together. So anyway, there you go. But I didn't plan on talking offensive line for 20 minutes, but I'm glad we did, man, because it is an issue, right? I mean, the running game's a problem right now. It's the reality of it. So, all right, moving along. Wide receivers leading the way, although it's only 2 games. I'm excited for him to get a 3rd game under his belt. Christian Watson, 74.7, looking awesome, averaging over 23 yards a catch. I think that was 2nd best in the league, 3rd best in the league last I checked the other day. Then you got Romeo Dobbs, solid year, man, 70.5. This is why we didn't want to trade him. There was the trade rumors, and you worry like, man, I don't want to get rid of a player like Romeo Dobbs for a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick, and us trying to go into a playoff run here. You want his hands on the team. And then of course you got Matthew Golden, 66.2. You guys know my rule of thumb, and if you grade out 60 or higher as a rookie, it's usually a pretty good indicator that they're going to be a good football player. I think I heard Ryan say that a long time ago. That might have been where I originally got that from, to be honest with you. But that's usually a pretty good measuring stick on whether a player's going to be good. And Musgrave, 54.4. Take a snapshot of that, guys. Yeah. I think you're about to see Luke Musgrave. I think he's going to surprise some people. Listen, he's not Tucker Kraft. He's not going to run through people's faces. But I think you're going to see him have just as many catches as Tucker and just as many opportunities, because most of those looks with Tucker Kraft, he's just schemed open, right?
Yep.
I think you're going to continue to see that with Musgrave. But
And just getting the ball in his hands so that he can feel a little bit more comfortable with it. Game speed, game time, get everything a little bit smoother with Musgrave. I think he is gonna, I'm hoping to see him, 60, 65 and climbing after a couple weeks, and we're gonna need it, right? It's the same thing that you have in other years, next man up mentality. All right, it's your turn, Musgrave. You went down and tuck out the shot. Your turn now. And, we're going to have to have you seal some blocks. We're going to have you, go out and reach, leak, all these things. You might need to sift here and there, but he's a tight end. He played it in college. It's not like he can't do these things. It's just he's not Tucker, so we can't expect everything that Tucker did to be Musgrave.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving along here, Tim. Let's get into their defensive backfield. Listen, Cooper DeJean, he's a dog, 77.7, third best or third highest graded corner in the league. He's going to play slot in their nickel. He'll kick outside in the base package. Actually, does he play safety, Amelia? Don't he play a little safety when they go through that? So let's see here. Slot corner.
A lot of slots.
Oh, look at this. 329 in the slot, 103 outside. So does he kick outside this year for them in their base maybe? So that's what it appears if PFF's got that chart right. But Cooper DeJean is 77.7. And then on the other side, you got Quinyon Mitchell, a 68.0, solid player there. Obviously, one of our best corners that we had graded. I think it was not this past draft, but the year before. And then opposite of them, they're showing Jackson here. Is that Adoree Jackson? Yeah. Yep. Adoree Jackson. He's playing like cheeks this year, guys. 47.1. Like the old Waterboy video. Where's my B? Where's my Bears? My B.
There he is.
That's the guy you want to try to pick on if you can. Watch him prove it. Former first-round pick, but, man, he was a USC Trojan. Ugh. You know what I'm saying? Can't take that as a Notre Dame fan. But in the safety, in the backfield, guys, Blankenship, 42.3, Makuba, 52.6. Their safeties look kind of weak here, man. Looking kind of weak. Now, obviously, they make up for it at stack backer with Zach Bond coming in at an 80.0 on this young year here. He's grading out the 7th best stack backer in the league right now. Obviously, a former third-round pick out of Wisconsin. And next to him, they're showing Nakobe Dean. I was thinking he was banged up earlier in the year. It looks like he's got minimal snaps. Do we know if he's healthy by chance? Anybody know? I'll try to pull
I don't think we saw – was he on that Philly injury report?
I don't think he was. I'm going to double-check. Yeah. But talk to me about what you just seen here, Tim, on this defense, man.
Obviously, Zach Bond, an absolute dog. You talk about Tuesday players. There's one right there. But I think you're right, man. You look at that deep part of that secondary, the safety room, other than, when Cooper DeJean, the great white hope, when he's back there, then you got to account for it. But, reading on the early game plan, on our Patreon, man, this might be the game. We talk about establishing the run, man. We may need to attack through the air to give ourselves a shot against Philly in this primetime game. And, Quinyon Mitchell, on the boundary, we know how he plays, right? But I'm looking forward to seeing Matthew Golden, if he's a go, lining up in that slot against Cooper DeJean. That would be something pretty cool to see. But, we have to be able to run the ball effectively enough to keep that defense honest. But I think you're going to see shot plays, man. I think you're going to, see Matt trying to test this secondary and not let them live on reputation alone.
Yeah. Let's see here. Coach Lynn says Mitchell going to hold at least 3 times. I hope you're right there, Coach. Hope you're right. Let's get the laundry out there on the field. So the guy I was thinking about that was hurt, Emilio, was Nolan Smith, but he's full participation now.
Right. I pulled up Nakobe Dean. You were right, though, Clay. It looks like he was hurt. Week 7 is the only time they have snaps for him. He did play 31 snaps, but he was a partial starter. And then week 8, he had, 33. So those 2 grades, he had a 67.5 in week 7 and a 56.6 in week 8. But I think that I would say he's trending to play here this next game. But again, yeah, and I looked up Cooper DeJean. He's been in the slot pretty much the whole time he's been over there. So I think that him stepping up and being, he's also a possibility on special teams and things like that. Just a dog. And I remember that was a 2nd-round pick, right? So we had there, we were looking at him. There are all these other things, different options, but it's just we had our eyes on him. That's all.
The people that say you should have drafted Cooper DeJean, I always say, so you would rather have Cooper DeJean over Edgerrin Cooper? My answer is no.
So much speed and athleticism in that middle of the second there.
But their immediate argument goes, no, Cooper DeJean in the first round. I'm going, nobody else had a first round grade on him.
Yep.
Now we're playing revisionist history here, right?
Yep.
Like nobody had a first round. If somebody had a first round grade on him, they would have taken him in the first round, right? And sometimes you get to pick 34, 35, okay, we had a first round grade. It just didn't work out. The fact that they took him selection 40, that tells me that the Packers aren't the only person that didn't see him as a first round pick, So
they took him after they took their number 1 corner, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yep.
Right. Exactly. There you go. So that tells you they had a first round grade on Quinyon Mitchell with the 22nd selection, and they probably had a second round grade on Cooper DeJean that they took in round 2, pick 40. Right. So again, my argument is always, I would love to have Cooper DeJean. You kidding me?
Yeah.
We were high on him on our board. I remember it. We had him very high. The tiebreaker for me, the cluster buster for me was, okay, some people seen him as a safety, other people seen him as a corner. And I'm like, okay, if there's a little bit of, you're a little hesitant on where he's going to play. I'm sick of the projects where it's, let's bring this player in because we think he can play here, right? We do enough of that as it is. I mean, for God's sakes, how many times are we going to draft a tackle and kick him in the guard, right? We do it all the time, right? So I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. I'm probably wrong there, but so anyway, that's what their defense is looking like. So that's
on the secondary real quick is I started one there from Jen Wright. I think she said something about Ja possibly replacing Jackson.
That makes sense, right? Yeah. Let me go to Ja real quick and see how he's playing. I'm assuming he ain't playing great because it just seems like he can't.
I think he's only played in 5 games this year? 4 or 5 games?
I'd say that's probably accurate. Let me see here. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Lord have mercy. Ugh. It's saying his overall grade's a 36.9.
Yeah, remember he got cooked against Buffalo twice.
Yeah, dude. I'm not. We'll go ahead and drop this down because we're done here. Let me pull this up real quick. I did not expect that. I mean, I didn't expect him to look, great on paper, but this is pretty ugly. He's played in 2 games. Yeah. Week 1 in Buffalo, 29.8. Then he came out in week 5 and played 28 snaps, 60.9. If I'm looking at this right, so. Yeah, put him out there. I'm okay with. I did not expect him to grade out less than Adoree Jack. I don't know about you guys, but that catches me off guard a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe not a full-on replacing, but maybe heavy rotation there, rotating that spot.
I think
they're going to put Ja out there, man. We're going to see at least 20 snaps or something like that probably from him.
I think Jen's right, no pun intended, but I think Jen Wright is right. That they'll probably try to work him in. I did not expect those grades. That's wild. So
yeah, someone that you're very familiar with, and Jordan's familiar with him. He's thrown against him a lot. I think maybe there's a couple of tells that Ja would have on Jordan from in practice and things like that you maybe wouldn't get from somebody else. But again, he's got to get reps. Again, he's going to have to stop the run. He's going to have to stop Savion, Josh Jacobs, all these things that are going to be out there. And, maybe you want to press him a little bit, run to his side once in a while. You might want to, screen to his side. Just test him, see if he's ready.
Definitely.
That's a great point. You want a balanced attack against Philly, but you probably want to lean a little more into that passing game, like we were saying earlier,
Yeah, great point. All right, so there you go. That's our offense against their defense. I think we're going to wrap it up there tonight, guys. I'm hacking over here. I know everybody's getting tired of hearing it. I apologize. I don't know when I'm going to get over this. It's just it comes and then it gets in your mind. Crap, am I going to cough? Now you overthink it and you end up coughing when you probably wouldn't have. But I'm trying to put out multiple shows a day and not be sound like I'm throwing up into the microphone. If that makes sense. So
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
All you can do.
Perfect drop.
Is Ja going to appoint himself captain?
That's my God.
Boy.
Would that not be golden, guys? Think about that. If we get out there and the 3 captains for the Packers walk out and 4 captains for the Eagles walk out and Ja's just out there like, I'm going to call it all. Oh, my God. That would be.
Yeah, I got this, Nick. Don't worry. I got this, Nick. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'm going to go out there,
Heard it from a fan right here.
Perfect.
It's going to be absolutely awesome, man. Talking about full circle, you end up beating Aaron. Jordan beats his mentor and Aaron Rodgers, right, in Pittsburgh. And then 2 weeks later, Ja comes back and makes himself a captain in Green Bay, gets suspended the next game. and then goes full AB and walks off to the sunset. We never hear from him again until he's extradited from another country. But we'll talk about that another day. So, anyway, anything else y'all want to hit on? Tomorrow we'll dive into their offense against our defense. I apologize, guys, but yeah, it's getting pretty bad out here.
No, perfect. No, excited for the team. Our O-line does need to step up, and it's going to be a battle. We're going to have to see. You got to play clean. Hold when you can. Don't get a flag. Like Matt says, call a good game, call it even. But I think that we really need to start opening up some holes. I think you're right, Clay. Get some stretches going. Got to get Josh Jacobs hot. I don't care what it is, Matt. You might need to run 2 times, 3 times. I mean, one offensive possession, 3 runs type thing. We need a tone setter. If we need points on the board on the first drive. I think that'll set a real good tone. You're home. Crowd's going to be in it. You got to keep them in it under the lights. You got to show up.
Absolutely. Ken James in the chat says 29-26 Packers. Hey, I'll be all right with that, man. That's I think it is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think there's a lot of people in the media that thinks the Eagles are just going to go out there and boat race the Packers. I don't think that's going to happen at all. So I know Tim's going to
be a premium in this game for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It'd be nice to get a handful of turnovers in this game to make up for the lack of them throughout the year already. If you win the turnover differential in this game, I feel really good about being at home. The Packers pulling out a dub. But it's easier said than done, man. Jalen Hurts playing pretty good football. They got a good receiving core in A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. We'll talk about those Tuesday players. We'll get into that tomorrow as well. Sunday, we may get into it a little bit more too, more of the game plan. But and keep in mind, guys, Sunday, as long as the voice holds up, we're going to be doing a double live hate watch party. All right.
Jacob's excited.
Yeah, Jacob is going to be watching the Vikings game and giving you guys play-by-play. We'll be in the same show on the same screen here. I'll be watching the other game. Who was it? The Bears game, right? I'll be watching the Bears game and giving you guys live updates. So we'll just kind of hang out on Sunday and watch some NFL football together. And then obviously everything's got as early as it is. It's week 10, but it's still playoff implications, man. They're unfolding every single week. So make sure you guys tune into that. And then, of course, that'll get you your football fix on what we would normally watch football on a Sunday with the Packers, and then Monday Night Football coming up. Tim will be boots on the ground. Tim, you got anything else to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for, under the lights, primetime, cold weather game. It's going to be awesome. I plan on not having a voice at all when I come in for the post-game show, and hopefully what will be a Victory Tuesday. So I'm going to be loud. It's a gold package game. I don't care what the haters say. Milwaukee Crew's going to represent. We're going to be loud on defense. We're going to help get that dub.
Love it.
That forecast for Sunday night, a few clouds, a few flurries or snow showers possible, low of 22, winds 10 to 20 mile an hour. Let's go.
Bring the cowbell, Tim. Bring the cowbell, man.
Yeah.
Make that thing ringing.
Let's go.
And you know what's going to happen for the post-game show too, boys. When we get in here, we're going to have to flip that background on them and hit them with it. You know what I'm saying?
We've been waiting.
It's that time of the year. It's that time. I was rolling through the neighborhood the other day, Emilio, coming home, got the trailer with the mowers on it. Pull up, and there was a mowing crew out talking on their trailer. I just rolled the window down and crept at about 8 mile an hour, and I screamed, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." Just rolled right past them. They were laughing their asses off. I'm like, I love it. You could just tell they were not stressed. When we pass people like that in July, Tim, when it's rained 3 days and it's been 112 heat index, we just look at each other and flip the bird at each other. Anyway, that's it, guys. Appreciate y'all. Let us know in the comments what you think about everything we covered tonight. I'm going to get these videos out as soon as possible. Appreciate everybody hanging out in the chat. Y'all were great tonight. Hit like, hit subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. We'll be back tomorrow, probably multiple streams. We'll see how it goes, but we'll definitely be live tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you for putting up with the voice. Take care.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.